Good morning and welcome to the fifth quarter AZ. Want to welcome everybody here with this nice snowy morning. Snow day has been called here in Flagstaff, so I know we have all the kids in the FUSD school district just watching the show this morning. So hey, but hey, it's a great morning, and I'm just glad that I see that my co-host, my partner in crime, made it through the elements again today, just like he did last week. So I told him last week, you made it through the elements, so you remember that knew there was that R&B group that we call the Elements. And so I guess you can still be a part of that group, the Elements, Earth, Wind, and Fire. My God, Mr. Tyrone Johnson. What's up with you, coach?
Oh, nothing, man. Look, if I'm gonna be a part of the group with today's stuff, I might as well be the lead singer. You know what I mean? So
yeah, man, because they can with this mechanic, all these stuff they can do electronically, they can make you sound good, man.
Yeah, they could, man, and I need that help.
Yeah, man. I heard you saying happy birthday. But
I be jamming on that now. Come on, give me some credit.
You do. You got your own version and everything, man. It's good. So, coach, no school today. Games have been canceled. Selection shows are coming in tomorrow. How is this affecting what you do, what Coconino does, Flag High does, as far as the standings go?
Well, obviously, we don't get a chance to move up or down. If we played our last game, then if we won, we'd get a chance to move up. And this is mainly in the open for us. I think in 4A, we're solidified pretty much at 4, unless we would have lost. If we lose, then we would have dropped way down in the open. Right. We're 11 right now. I think we would have dropped out of the top 16, and then ain't no telling where we would have went in 4A. And so for us, it doesn't give us a chance to position ourselves better going into the open. And so being 11, we'll host one game. And then if we win that, we'll be on the road. And so, that's how it affects us as far as like Coconino. Again, they would have had a chance to better their positions if they would have won both games against Bradshaw. But now they'll just get ready for the play-in, and that's on the girls' side. And then I think the boys are in the same position where they both going to be on the play-in. And so, it's unfortunate, but, of course, safety first.
Exactly. So there's no chance of rescheduling these games before, tomorrow's the selection show.
So we were originally scheduled to play yesterday, and then we got granted an extension to play today in order to get the games done. And then with school being canceled, then that game is just going to be canceled, and there won't be any makeup of that game. It'll just move on because the selection show is tomorrow morning for basketball. So that'll just be it. And the unfortunate thing for both boys and girls at Flag High, at least, and I believe girls at Coconino, I'm not sure about the boys, but we don't get to have a senior night and honor our seniors in front of everybody. So we're still trying to figure that out and see how we can, honor them for their career and for the work they put in this season. And, they just do.
Excuse me. So the way things are sitting right now, if they stay the same, you would be hosting Deer Valley Tuesday night.
That's kind of what we're anticipating. I mean, I had Coach hit me up last night saying, hey, you guys are going to be with Deer Valley, I can get you this, that, and the other. And so, that's kind of what it's looking like since we don't get to play this game. If we would have played, I think, and we could have won, we would have moved up to at least 10. But right now, everybody else look like they're finished. And so it looks like we're going to play Deer Valley.
Okay. Would there be a chance of senior night just starting a little early and have senior night that night? Or is that against AIA rules?
I asked that question early on, and then, the response that we got back was that if we can't have these games, then senior night, we won't get to have a senior night. So still put it out there to see if maybe we could do something because it's for girls basketball, boys basketball, and cheer. And I put the question out whether we could do something after the contest, win or lose, if we could still honor the seniors. And so waiting to hear back on that. If not, we'll have to get creative and find some way to honor them.
Well, we know you'll get creative, Coach, and these girls definitely deserve their due. And I know as far as Flag High senior class, that was a group of girls that I was really close with as they came up through their freshman and JV year, and I really want to be there to to support them, clap for them, cry with them, and just let them know that we really appreciate the 4 years that they've given, as well as Coconino and all the other schools. So we really appreciate that. And so good luck to all the teams, because I think almost everybody is going to state, regardless about where your position is. They're going to state. I was looking at MPA today. The boys at number 25 and the girls at number 14.
Yep.
So it looks like they will have a shot at some postseason play. So basketball has been really strong this year in Flagstaff, and just congratulations to all of them.
Yep.
So excuse me, Coach. I'm still
Coach,
battling.
before you move on, man.
Yeah.
Look, you be going back and forth, so yeah, lean back a little bit. Yeah, we like that. We see you rocking a shirt, say Bourget Catholic Golden Eagles. Who coached there?
Hey, man, my oldest son, Marcus, he coaches that team. And yeah, I just want to give him a little love this morning. And I know they're going into the playoffs too. Hopefully. I don't know how they did last night, but they have a shot to go in. And this was a Christmas present from him. So I got to let him know I'm rocking it for him, man.
Yes,
let him know I'm rocking it for him. And
yes,
with hopes that they get into the playoffs too.
Well, Coach, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but they ain't going to make the playoffs, unfortunately. Stupid.
So, all right, man. Well,
but he had a good season. You know, he went through some adversity, lost his best player early on, and still, you know, pushed and was 25 going in and had a chance to get in, needed to win last night, playing one of the top teams. And unfortunately that didn't happen for him, but congratulations to him on just a great year. And hopefully he has a lot of young players. So hopefully they'll learn from this and they'll be back stronger even next year.
Right. And this was his first year coaching there. And I know they're happy with him, and I'm just proud of him. And just, hey, there's nowhere you can go but up from here.
Yep.
Nowhere you can go from here. So Coach, you know, just moving right along, we want to get our guest in here, because this is someone who has really had a great season, continuing to have a great season, and someone who I've never personally met. Seen her out there in the cold, so I don't be standing out there talking, man. That ain't your time for all that. Too old for all that. But
that's
anyway,
like a commitment, Coach. That's like a commitment. Look, and being impersonable. That's what that is.
Hey, look outside. That's commitment with a capital COMMENT. Just in case you didn't think I know how to spell that. But anyway, we want to welcome Coach of the girls soccer program at Flagstaff High School, Mrs. Savannah Berry. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing great. We are doing great. So,
what's up, Coach? How you doing? We appreciate you getting on the show this morning.
Good. I'm good. Yeah, you know, we love it outside. We love the snow with soccer. So I know you're learning to love it, but you know.
hey, see, that was the thing. I told you before the show I was gonna get on it. Because you know, this guy's about 6'4". And you're out there in these elements, Coach Berry, every day. I see y'all out there plowing the field so that you can practice, so that you can play. And you're not complaining, and you're number one in 4A. That is awesome. He coached flag football, was out there in the rain one day. He called me, hey, man, I'm a bad boy. I was out there. I made him practice in the rain. Yeah. So I just want him to know he ain't that bad. You're bad. You're bad.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun out there. I remember, what was it, at the start of flag football season when we kept getting rained out, and you're like, see, this is why I do indoor sports. Just rough with the elements.
That's exactly why. You have to deal with the elements. You have to be flexible, and you know, just when you can't get out and get in the space that you want. And I'll have Coach Neal know that I practiced in the rain about 3 times this year, so I think I am a little bit better than what he's talking about.
He practiced in the rain one time. He practiced in the drizzle twice. That's what he did. So, Coach, like I said, this is the first time I've met you. So, for me and everybody else out there, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you went to high school, your athletic journey.
Yeah. So I'm from San Diego. I grew up in Carlsbad, California. So North County. Went to Carlsbad High School, played soccer at Carlsbad, ran tracks, swam, kind of did a little bit of everything. And ended up taking an offer to play soccer at University of Florida. So I moved out to University of Florida. My dad's from Florida. I have family out there. So it was a pretty cool experience. I ended up transferring after my freshman year to NAU. Had a lot of friends that I had played club soccer with in San Diego that went to NAU. So ended up transferring out here, played the last 3 years. Decided I wanted to continue playing soccer and wanted to continue my education and moved to England, went and played soccer over in England and got my master's in engineering. And then I missed flag, so I decided to come back and I got my PhD at Northern Arizona University, and then coached at NAU for a little bit, and then started coaching club. And I was playing semi-pro in Tucson during this whole time period, so I really haven't stepped away from playing the game at all. And in the last 3 years, I started playing beach soccer, so it's 5v5 on the sand. Barefoot. It's an amazing game. It's allowed me to continue playing the game I love in a different form. So to just continue learning. And 2 years ago, I got a shot to take the opportunity to get called up for a national team camp for beach soccer. So I did that. Unfortunately, didn't make the roster for Russia. But still loving the game, still playing, and still continuing on my player development, as well as really working to develop players in flag too.
Coach, you say Russia.
Yeah.
So you from Russia?
No, so we were playing in a beach soccer tournament, countries tournament. So representing the US in Russia. Yeah. And so I got invited up for that camp. Didn't make the final roster, but it was a great experience, and it's just an awesome sport to be a part of. So it's been really cool to kind of watch. Our country
I thought I
develop.
missed something because I was like, you say you
Yeah.
Carlsbad, but you didn't make the Russian team. So I'm with you now.
No, there was a roster for an opportunity to head to Russia for a tournament. And yeah, it's awesome. It's been super cool continuing to play in a different regard, and it's been a lot of fun.
Nice.
So how did you get hooked up with Flag High?
Yeah, so I actually was coached by Holly when I was at NAU.
Okay, right.
So I know Holly really well. Great coach, awesome mentor, someone that has really taught me a lot about the game. And I worked a lot with her as an individual when I was at NAU too. And I had known just through the community, known some people surrounding Flag Soccer Club and Flag High, and the position became available. And so I took the opportunity to kind of step up and throw my name in the hat, and it's been a wild ride. It's been so much fun. And Chris was the assistant. He is the assistant coach right now, but was the assistant coach for the last 4 years. So he's been able to really help me navigate the specifics of high school soccer and everything. And he's been a lot of help, and it's been great. I've really, really enjoyed it so far.
And how many years have you been the head coach at Flag High School?
So this is my 3rd year at Flag High.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So still new.
Still new.
Still new. So how did playing flag football for Coach Johnson help some of your athletes in soccer?
I think, honestly, it was the morale. Those girls had so much fun, right? I think at the beginning when they're I think we were talking about it last spring. They're like, we're thinking there might be flag football next year. And our girls were like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. And then as soon as it happened, it was like a constant buy-in. But Johnson, I don't know if that was the same with your girls, but they didn't know what they were doing, but they had so much fun. Yeah. Some of these girls have never watched football, right? And so it's one of those things where they just all bought in. the camaraderie, everything.
Right.
And so there's so many soft skills that came from them playing something new, right? It's vulnerable to try something. It's vulnerable to step into a ring, have no idea what's going on, do it with another group of girls too. So I think there were so many soft skills that developed, but then on the hard skills, it's like technicality, right? The cuts, the lateral movement, the speed, the change of direction, the communication, all of that was huge. So I don't know about you, but like our girls that played flag football, like as soon as soccer season started, they had that quickness. They had that little jump, and that was really cool to see.
Yeah, I think it's kind of ditto on the girls basketball side. And it was just fun. Obviously, to coach a group of girls that are athletic, have been well coached, are very coachable. And then we got out and we just figured it out together. And Coach Chris obviously was a big help, Coach Jess. And we got out there, we had some fun. We seen the potential early on and we just went for it. And, they bought in and we were able to have a successful season. So it was real cool.
Right.
Yeah, it was cool to watch you guys do that. Like it was just cool to, because I just like was on the outskirts of it and just watching how excited you guys got, the performances, and then going out and watching the games. It was like, wow, like it's amazing how well they picked it up, and that really alludes to how well you guys coach too. So
yeah, we appreciate that. We went from basketball players and soccer players to actually at the end they were some flag football players. So it was fun to see.
And successful too.
Right.
Awesome. Yeah.
I don't give him much credit, but he did a great job with them as a coach to build that culture. And especially with girls, that's so important to build that culture where they probably never knew each other, never talked to each other in the hallways or anything. And to come together and be successful was amazing. And he had a young lady kicking field goals who NAU probably should have looked at. And I know she's playing soccer for you now.
Yeah. Yeah, Aspen McCallie, she's awesome. She can kick, man. She's so awesome. And that's exactly right. I've stepped into some subbing roles at Flag High since the semester started, and a little bit last semester, watching these girls laugh and joke around with each other in the hallways. It's like, you guys never would have hung out with each other before this. And now just the support on both sides of it, it's been super cool. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And you got acclimated. Senior night, it wasn't warm. You were out there in the elements.
Hey, and I even ate a snow cone out there in the elements. It was funny because in the beginning, the girls was like, do you want to do it at Flag High, so on and so forth? They was like, no, we want to go Coconino tonight. And I was like, you understand what you're doing, right? And they were like, what? I was like, you know how cold it's going to be out there? And then the soccer girls just looked at me. I was like, oh, yeah, y'all practicing the snow. Y'all playing the snow. I say, never mind. Let's do it that night.
They don't layer up. I'll be like,
they don't.
What's on? They're like, we're not cold. I'm like, it's 25 degrees. I'm over here shivering.
Right.
Thinking I'm in Miami. Just think you're in Miami. Like, and they're over there like, no, we're fine. Just no layers or anything. They're wild.
Now, Coach, we talk about the elements and everything. This current snowstorm, I mean, your selection show is here in a little bit later today. And then you guys will find out where you'll be ranked going into the tournament from all things. It looking like you'll be the top ranked. You'll no longer be under the radar. Everybody will be gunning for you. But is this weather right now a disadvantage for you as opposed to an advantage? I know when it comes game time, but for us, we've lost a whole week of practice, conditioning, so on and so forth, continuity. How does that affect you guys, even though people are going to come up to the elements?
Well, for starters, like now we're not even having our show. We have Coconino's going to be playing down at Mingus today. We had a few other teams that haven't played, so they're like, well, we can't do a selection show because there's so many games that still need to be played. So we won't really know until we know, right? Until these results are in. Coco's had a hard go because they've had three reschedulings of this game. So I mean, last year we got worked with snow. We had maybe a total of a week practices outdoors. And a lot of that was spent shoveling. And so, it's like the mental toughness of like, okay, all right, we're out there. We want this. We're determined. We're going to clear that field. And you can preach all that, but at the end of the day, you don't got time on the ball, you don't have time running, like that's a huge disadvantage. So it's hard. This is, if I could think of one week where I would have preferred this storm to not be happening, it would be this week.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you know, we've done this before. We've been through this last year. I think prepped us heavily for this year. We know, like, as coaches, how can we handle this? And so we have at-home workouts that we've provided the girls that are optional if they want to get something going. Some stuff they can do on the ball where they only need 5 yards of space. So we've sent them this stuff and be like, you know, if you feel the need, it's completely optional, but if you feel the need, you know, go ahead and get some work in. Keep yourself busy. Keep yourself, you know, because you start getting anxious when you don't practice.
Right.
Coaches and players, right? So that's been a huge thing. But I think at the end of the day, most of it comes down to the love of the game. And that whistle blows and you start. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want to play? You're not going to figure out how to play soccer in a week.
Right.
You may not be as fast. You may not be as you know, quick and like ready to go, but do you want it more than the other person? And that's what it's going to come down to. And I feel like that's what it comes down to during the state game anyways, right? When you get on these playoff runs, who wants it more? That's who's going to win this game.
Right.
So that's where you just got to get down to those instincts. Just play.
So you've talked about who wants it more, and you talked about getting out there in the elements and not layering up and things like that. So how much of the game of soccer being played outside is mental, and how much of it is actual physicality?
I think it depends on the game. It depends on the opponent, right? Like, just like any game, you have a team that's like, you know, you play a physical team. There's going to be a physical aspect of it. There's going to be a mental aspect. You play a really technical game. It might be more of a mental aspect, less physical, but you know, it kind of depends. I think when a team comes up here, gets off the bus, and they see snow, to them, they're immediately distracted, whether they want to be or not. They're distracted, right? They're coming up from the valley. Maybe they haven't seen snow before. So, you know, there's all of these different aspects. But a prime example is our Bradshaw Mountain game this year. It was snowing hard. So during the game, started sleet to rain to snow. Everybody was just cold. It was miserably cold. It was brutal. You know, we picked up all our stuff and sprinted inside to do our senior night. We're like, we're not doing it outside in the elements. So even I, we were like, we're going inside.
So what would it take them to cancel a soccer game?
I think it's just visibility on the field. I think it's really it's a call, but in this situation, like, it was sticking, but it was just starting to stick. So, but what happens is that sticks to the ball, that sticks to the ground. There's more of this, there's a slickness of the ball. When you play a ball in, it's harder, so it's going to hit differently. So you have to make these adjustments on the fly. And when you have the weather like that, it really just evens out the game. You know, sometimes it's like when it's really cold, yeah, maybe we have an advantage over teams, but when weather, like true snow, sleet comes into it, I think it's the equalizer, to be honest with you. And I felt that way in our playoff game 2 years ago with South Point. Started snowing in the game. It's an equalizer. So yeah, I think it depends for sure.
So, Coach, as you going in, you know, we talked a little bit in terms of have the girls having an underdog mentality. But if you guys do get that number 1 spot, even number 2 spot, you know what I mean? How are you going to keep them from, I guess, feeling like they've arrived to still have that underdog mentality and get after it and change nothing that's been successful so far this season?
Yeah, I mean, this was, you know, we had talked about this, I think, before one of your games where, you know, we lost 12, 13 seniors last year.
Wow.
Well, our program this year, we're carrying a smaller roster. We got 7 returners, I think, 7. 8, I think, within the program. I'd have to double check, but it's a pretty new squad. We got 3 freshmen. We're young. Part of that's awesome, right? Part of that's like this like energy that comes about with freshmen. They're just like, we're just happy to be here. You let us know what we need to do. Sure, we'll hop on the line and run. We don't care. We're just happy to be here. And so like there's that aspect where it's huge. Game maturity is something that's learned over years, and it takes us forever, like as athletes, to learn that game time maturity. One thing I will say though is this team, they grind. This is like hard workers, blue collar working team, just like they'll grind. And we've showed that. We haven't had many games this year where it's been a mercy rule. We haven't had those blow teams out of the park. We've had to compete every game. And that's huge because that's the adversity. When you haven't been scored on, and I think this was a problem last year, we didn't get scored on that much. So when we did, it was like, oh, what do we do next? You know, so I think that's huge. With this team, we have. And I think the one thing we keep telling these girls is you're beatable. You've been beat.
Right.
Been beat in a tournament. No, it doesn't show on a regular season, but I remember who we lost to. I remember how we lost. I remember those goals. You guys are a beatable team. So you're going to have that target on your back, but don't let that boast the ego because you can't be beat. And that's really what it comes down to. It's when teams start to feel invincible is when they let their guard down and is when we start having issues. But I think these girls are in a good headspace. They've faced adversity early on. So their first sense of adversity isn't going to be in this, in this state run.
Yep. And coach, you were telling me like in that overtime game, in that Prescott game, and we were talking about a little bit. And you mentioned you have some freshmen, some young ones, but just tell us a little bit about how they stepped up and helped turn the tide in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got 3 freshmen this year. Elise, Morgan, and Jaden all play a massive role in our team and the dynamic of the game. In this Prescott game, and Prescott's a huge rivalry for us as it is for, all of our region, right?
Right.
It's one of those things where it's a battle. It was a battle back and forth. You got number 2 versus number 3. Whoever wins this is kind of ahead for that region title. A lot on the line. Going to Prescott at their house, which I always prefer. Nothing's more fun than beat someone at their home. You know what I mean? So I prefer that. And we went down there. Again, I told you, small roster. We've had some unfortunate injuries this year. Girls go down there, play the first half, play the second half. They are just working so hard, playing heavy minutes, going into hard tackles. We're going into overtime. We're like, really don't want to take Prescott into overtime. It's going to help us, but this is a big thing, right? And everyone's just kind of like dialed in. One of our freshmen, Elise, gets on the end of a ball, header, upper V. She's like 5 foot something. She's tiny, right? Gets around it, heads the ball. We score a goal. We're going into our second overtime. We come back into the huddle, and I got chills by the feeling that these girls gave me. And I think right then and there, I knew, I was like, we're going to make a run.
Yeah.
Because the way that they looked at me was like this kind of like cynical little smirk. And they're like, yeah, we're in this. We're going for it. No one's going to stop us now. And those moments in coaching, you just kind of like decompress and you're like, all right, I'm not carrying this. These girls are. Right. And that was a huge moment. Looking around, tiny little team. Our back line is like 5 foot tall, right? But big hearts, big energy. These girls bring it. And that was a really special moment. So I feel good about it. I feel good going into this run.
So going into the playoffs, who do you think is going to be your biggest competition? Is going to be that one that we got to get through this one?
That's hard because honestly, and any team, right? Any team that belongs there, you got to worry about. You the upsets we've had. Chris was telling me about 2 upsets that happened yesterday. I think it was last night. It's like, all right, we could be an upset match, right? Like, and with that target on that back comes that responsibility. Yeah, I mean, I think anywhere in the top 10, it could go any direction. It's been a really, really tight year this year. Prescott, big team to beat. Sal Point, one of my really good friends, she coaches down at Sal Point. I'm always interested in beating her. I haven't done it. So that's a friendly competition between 2 good teams that have played together for years. So that's a huge one. But honestly, I'm not settling for anyone. I know that anyone could turn around and upset anyone in this run. And so I don't care if they're 2nd or 16th, I'm treating them exactly the same.
Absolutely. And then, Coach, what about, we talked about some of your young, what about your seniors? You know what I mean? Obviously, we had some play flag football for us, and, you know, they coming out, they doing their thing on the soccer field. Tell us about some of your seniors and, you know, what this season has meant to them so far, and, you know, the run hopefully ahead, what that's going to mean in their senior season.
Yeah, I mean, I think this senior has like a special, they have a special bond. Some of them have been here the whole time, whereas Maya, she came up this year. But I think what's really important is like when you have such a massive senior class in front of these girls, they maybe haven't felt that need to step up until their senior season, right? So it's like, okay, we got 13 seniors in front of me. I got to do my job. I just got to stick to my task, do my job. And I think this year it's been really awesome to watch these girls step up and be like, okay, it's my team. I need to take responsibility for. I need to be accountable for myself, my players. And like you see, they've been watching, they've been listening, they've been really, really being that workhorse that whole time. Now they have the opportunity to step up. And it's been really cool to see that transition. Huge contributors, big leaders, and just great kids, honestly. It's just a great group of girls.
Well, that's special to see. So, are any of these girls getting looked at right now to play further?
Yeah, so Kate is committed to play D1 at NAU under Allen, which has been really awesome to watch that flourish. This has been her dream for a while. Maya's looking at Colorado School of Mines. I know she really wants to play there. She's also an unbelievable track star. She's a great flag football player, running back, and a great athlete and student. So she's going there potentially primarily for engineering. She's also looking at Cornell, but she wants to play. So we're just kind of seeing where things fall. Peyton Bean has stepped up this year beyond measure. I mean, absolutely shocked me by just controlling this back line, and an absolute beast in the back line. And she'll play in college for sure. I know she's looking at wanting to go out to Hawaii. And so we're trying to get that all lined up. And again, like this is kind of that time of year with soccer where we start, like when the high school season starts to settle down, we get them ready for those showcases and get these girls going. Last year, that was a big thing. And we ended up getting, 8 girls signed to go play in college. And so
that's awesome.
My goal is to get whoever wants to play. I want them to have that opportunity to continue playing. So, and we have some juniors that are getting looked at as well. So, yeah, it's been really good. I'm excited to help them with both processes, right? When high school's over, all right, let's get you going with club. Let's see if you want to play in college, this is what we have to do. And they're committed to it. So I know all of them will play if they want to.
Coach, does Bean ever give you that look where she kind of raised that eyebrow at you?
That's a special. That is a Bean special. I'd be like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. She gives me that look, and I'm like, okay, we're not on board. I got it. Okay. No, she's great. She's such a coachable player, but she gives me that look, and I'm like, okay, I see what's going on. I see.
Yeah, we got that look a couple times in flag football, and I just shook my head. I said, there go me.
Yes, indeed.
So funny. It really has been amazing watching her step up though this year.
Yeah.
That's
that
good.
confidence. And I think flag football gave her that confidence. And Chris said it. Chris was like, the way that she's playing flag football, if she runs our defense like that, she can be amazing.
Yeah.
Came into soccer season, just people are running at her full speed. She doesn't move. She's fearless.
Right.
And she's not that big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really cool. And I think that speaks to all of our girls, the character. They have amazing character and the chemistry. They have fun together. They roast me and Chris all the time. I think it's their favorite bonding experience, but we're okay with it because it really, it's been building up for sure.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Well, Coach, it's that time in the show.
Coach, real quick, before you get there,
okay.
Before you get there, I just want to know one thing. So this is your third season, Coach. What's been the most challenging thing for you coming in and taking over the program, a program that's historically been very successful? What's been the most challenging thing for you?
I think it's the adjustments season to season, right? You have a team and maybe a team responds a specific way, right? Mm-hmm. The next year, they may not respond to that same way. Learning how to communicate, individualize your coaching to players to help them flourish as players, but also, to be able to get that response that you need. And so just learning how to communicate across these different teams to make sure that I'm coaching them the way they needed to be coached as individuals has been a huge adjustment. But honestly, it's been amazing. And Chris, I don't think gets enough credit. Chris is the rock for sure. Mm-hmm. The way that he helps with scouting, the way that he's so invested in the game, the way that, he communicates with the players. Like, we balance each other out, Tyrone, you know that.
Yeah.
I'm spicy. I get a little spicy. I get a little heated. I'm a competitor through and through, and that's what drives everything I do as a coach. And so I think sometimes he's like, all right, but this is how we need to handle this. Right. And he really sets the tone. So he's made this transition into coaching the high school team really, really easy and helpful. So yeah, I appreciate him.
Well, that's all right. You need that out of an assistant coach. Not be afraid to tell you when he might think that you may need to go in a different direction.
Yep, and he does.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Yeah. When I was coach's assistant and tried to tell him, he didn't listen. He didn't listen at all. It was horrible.
That's just because he do things that he ain't supposed to do. He stand up when he ain't supposed to stand up. He get us threatened with technicals and everything. So then you like, man, sit down.
Yeah. But that's all right.
But it's all about the comedy at the end of the day. It's the things you can laugh about after it's done.
We got plenty of that. I promise you. Plenty of that, Coach. But now, Coach, first of all, I want to apologize for my coughing spell this morning. But it's that time in the show when we ask you to impart a little wisdom on all of our viewers, a little knowledge. And we do it by way of Coach Johnson's Golden Nugget question of the day. What you got, Coach?
All right, Coach. First off, you know what I mean? This has been great. I didn't know that we should be calling you Dr. Sav or Dr. Coach Berry, you know what I mean? I think that's pretty cool and pretty awesome. And then the fact that you did play at Florida and NAU, and you were successful in NAU, Big Sky, team honorable mention, all that good stuff. As these players come up, what does it really take to get to that next level? I know a lot of people and a lot of parents always talking about the D's. Oh, I'm D1, I'm D1, I'm D1. How do you get it across to the girls that not everybody's D1 and it's okay to be D2, D3, NAIA, but go get your education and then, continue on like you've been able to do?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it like plain and simple. Soccer has taken me everywhere. Any opportunity, if you bring it back, it's been the game. So one is loving the game. You got to love it. You can't be doing it for the wrong reason. So many athletes do.
Mm-hmm.
Their parents love it. Their parents played there. They want to, you have to love it. And after that, it's just the opportunity that the game can give you. I wouldn't have got my master's if I didn't go to England to go play. I wouldn't have come back here if I didn't want to continue coaching with Andre and continue being around the game. I mean, so many things have um, brought me places, and it really comes back to the game itself. Now, when it comes down to the D1, the D2, the D3, NAIA, it doesn't matter because you're a competitor. In whatever environment you get put into, you're going to step up to the plate. And I think people need to stop thinking, oh, well, it's all about being D1. I know so many D2 schools that could go out there and smoke a D1 school. I'm not going to name names, but you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And the bottom line is if you have competitive athletes and you have a coach that cares about you and teammates that are going to fight for you, it doesn't matter where you go. You're going to win championships. It really does. The talent base all comes down, or the selection base doesn't come down to the talent. It comes down to exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't have the same exposure. Maybe there's certain schools that want to pick from certain divisions, or they take from a specific club team because they know how that coach coaches and philosophy. It's not all about the D1, the D2, the D3. Just go where you're going to be competitive, and that kind of brings me to something I was talking about with our girls this year and talking about with Chris. State championship's always the goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's everyone's goal. Everyone's goal is to win it all. There's one team that does it.
Right.
And so if you only base your season off of winning a state championship, there's a high percentage that you'll always fail. And so what it comes down to is don't make that your only goal. Think about the soft skills. Think about those hard skills that you develop, right? And like how important those things are in a season. When you walk away from your last game, whether it's the state championship game, crying with joy, crying because you're upset, or games before that, did you walk away as a team or did you walk away as individuals and part your ways? Like that's such a big thing that I've thought about this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that regardless of how this season goes, I know exactly how our girls are going to walk away from each other. And that brings me a lot of joy. And, kind of building off that, when it comes down to, a resume, you're not writing down that, well, unless it's a sports resume, but you're not writing down, oh, I can juggle the ball 50 times.
Right.
I can do this. You're writing down, I'm determined, I'm focused, I'm a motivated individual, I have great time management skills, I have leadership qualities. Like that's what you get from the game, right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And so I think what it comes down to is like, that's why I do it as a coach. I'm sure that's why you guys do it as a coach. Like you're building good people.
Exactly.
Like the game has allowed me to have such great experiences and build these different qualities that I think have brought in so much benefit to my life. It's not the D1, it's not the D2, it's that.
That's awesome. That's
great,
real cool, cool. And if we just based everything on state championships, I feel like 16 times in a row. So.
Well, I've failed 2 so far, so I'm 66% failure so far.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, from our program, we've had, and Coach Neal will tell you, we've had doctors, lawyers, pilots, so on and so forth. And it was great to just really give them a foundation and a work ethic that helped them along once they stepped away from the program and got into the real world, where they could look back on their times as an athlete and really utilize that and have that help them in their real world applications. And so I like that answer. And that's definitely one of the best things about us being coaches is in working with these athletes. I mean, look, State title is good. It took me a long time. It's good, but that's not why we really do this game.
Right.
Yeah, just building good people and being around good people. That's what we want to do.
Yeah.
And you haven't been around it long enough, but the joy for these athletes to come back. Hey, this is my son. You got to meet Coach Johnson, and hey, this is my family. This is my husband, and they're so happy for you to meet them and introduce them to you, and that's where we get our joy from.
Yeah,
there's definitely not the paycheck. So it's that is where we get our joy from. And you have obviously done an amazing job with the girls at Flag High School. Had an amazing career that continues to grow. And being a Flagstonian, born and raised here, we just are happy to have you here.
Thank
Coach.
you.
And yes, sir.
She wasn't born and raised here. She migrated here, and we was happy to have her.
I said for somebody like me being born and raised here, that we are happy to have her in our community.
We are, Sav. I'm going to get it right, Sav. Don't worry.
Right. See, he was going to find one thing during the show to try to catch me on, Coach. I guarantee you that's what he's going to try to do. But I knew what I was talking about. But anyway, once again, to have you in our community and the things you're doing for us, you're greatly appreciated.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I continue learning from you guys. So thank you for all that you do. And let's go win a few state championships.
That's right.
Let's do it, Coach. Let's do it.
Let's go do this and make Flagstaff High and Flagstaff proud.
Absolutely.
So you got practice today, Coach Berry?
It's canceled. The school's canceled. But those girls are reading my mind. They better be doing something.
Absolutely.
Like watching this show.
Yes. Homework number 1.
There you go. So, hey, well, thank you for being on the show. We wish you the best of luck. If there's ever anything we can do for you, something that you need to bring on the show, something, fundraisers you're having, some you need support with, please use this as a vehicle to get the word out.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it. And likewise, if you ever need anything, we're always here.
Yeah.
Coach needs a few more players.
Flag football, we'll definitely talk about that. We'll get some more. But Coach, we appreciate you. Appreciate you joining us this morning. And best of luck. Like you say, let's go out here and get some titles.
Awesome. Thank you so much. See you guys later.
All right.
Later. That's awesome, Coach. And she's just a very impressive young lady, and hope to keep her around for a while.
Yeah, so, absolutely. And she has a great rapport with the girls and just with the students. And like you say, somebody who really she gets after it, competitive. And, when you sit and talk with her, you can just see that passion. And so it's always cool to chop it over with Sav.
And for somebody like her who's played at the University of Florida, been with the USA national team, been to Russia, we just don't know who we have walking the streets of Flagstaff, man.
Yeah, no, we definitely got some talent here in this town.
And this show has shown us, whether it's the runners, the bicyclists, the bowlers, whatever the case is, there's people walking this town that have done some amazing things. So if you like what we're doing, please hit that like button. Subscribe. You know one of these amazing athletes that we have not talked to yet. Please let us know about them. Or anything that can benefit you or this show, let us know. Because that's what we're here to do. And so, Coach, I don't know what you got planned. I see you at work, so you're already out there in the elements.
Yep.
No games today. I have nothing to do. So I'm going to go out here and get that snow blower, man.
I thought you was going to say you got fired on your day off.
Yes. Hey, this ain't Fridays, baby. This ain't Fridays.
It actually is Friday, but it ain't the movie. So
it ain't the movie.
Coach, all right, man. This was a great show, man. And look here. People, when you're watching the fifth quarter, be sure to tell somebody, because we got some great people on, some great guests. Right. Look, we got doctors on the show. And so, be sure to tune in. And today, go out, be safe in these elements, walk like a penguin if you're going across that snow. And enjoy yourselves. But look here, I don't know what y'all got to do this day, but I do know one thing. You ain't got to go home.
but you got to leave here. Peace.